I have like a similar code name that I go by at Starbucks. So yeah, it kind of felt significant because I tried to record this last night, and I did. Like I started it, I was like 5 minutes into it, but then I realized that you wanted it private, and then I had live streamed it, and then I was like, oh well, I already started live streaming it, but this is not the right thing I'm supposed to do. So then I stopped it, and then I ended up having to work through my energy, like my personal energy. And one of the main ways that I do that is through dance. So I recorded the first reading, Hey Sky, and then because I coupled this reading with another reading that I did yesterday. So maybe you want to watch that because in my mind, I was imagining these energies as being like equal and opposites. This is like the masculine perspective, and then your energy is like the feminine perspective. And I won't spend too much time talking about the request because I am live streaming this just because they wanted it recorded. So it'll only be available for like this live. Like you won't be able to see this after I finish recording. But yeah, so the other person was talking about how they fell out with a soulmate, with a friend, they called them, but they could still feel their energy and they wanted to know like how to get over them. But the reading that I gave them was more encouraging them to like reconsider why they want to distance themselves from this relationship. Because the cards were suggesting that this was a person who was in fact a karmic soulmate, but karmic not being like bad or terrible, but just meaning like fated, inevitable. And then this person, AJ, was encouraged to consider how they need to embrace both the positive and the negative impacts of having those really big karmic soulmate relationships with like equal and opposite forces. Because the AJ person, I was channeling like Sam Witwicky from Transformers for them. So they have like a big life path themselves, and that means that they have a lot of gravity, which means that they probably are capable of doing a lot of good and a lot of bad, like at any point in time they could do both or be anything. So they're attracting people who are just as significant as them, and they're just struggling with how that can exist at a contrast with them. So your energy is a little bit different because you're coming out with the feminine energy where you are just like kind of wanting to know what's going on with the other person that's preventing them from being available to you. So like whereas the other person can feel the other person like tugging on them and is like, why? You're the person kind of tugging, you know? So this is gonna be cool for that way because it's gonna show both sides. So the first question that you asked in the request, because I won't talk about all the details right now, is his true thoughts and feelings. Then we're gonna talk about what stops him from pursuing something meaningful, and then his intentions and next moves, and then his overall perspective from like a higher self on this relationship. So starting with thoughts and feelings. And then I made it like a little note. I wrote this a couple days ago because I usually plan these a while ahead. And I wanted to mention both of you were mentioning relationships that existed from like last year. And then you guys booked these 2 days apart. So it felt significant because you guys both got the same kind of like reading and everything. But when I wrote this, I put his true thoughts and feelings, and then instead of writing and, like it felt like I needed to put the symbol for plus, which is like a combining thing. So I kind of was just channeling that immediately. I don't know what the cards are going to say. We're going to figure it out, but I don't know that this is someone who like the other person's energy was like stuck in their mind, you know? Like I don't know how to move out of this position that I have. And I was encouraging that person to detach from their personal perspective because of how, like, how stuck they were in it and seeing things only from their way because they were upset with someone that they fell out with. Like, there was some kind of negative experience that they had, like, mentally, spiritually, emotionally with that person that made them want to completely remove them, even if just for a time. So this is your reading. I'm going to light some incense. I just realized I haven't done that yet. And I'm going to use this patchouli. It smells really nice. Thank you guys for hanging out in the live today. I plan on getting a lot of work done. So starting to be productive early in the morning, something that I don't usually do. Because I kind of work better, I think, at night sometimes. It's my ninja way, but whatever. Okay. So now that everything's nice and smoky, we're gonna talk about your person's true thoughts and feelings towards you right now. And this is a person who has, thank you, Sky. Sky, okay, so I want to mention, just in case this is relevant in any kind of way, as like a side message for you, L, is I was experiencing some spiritual warfare from like my actual like mother. And she, like, our relationship was interesting because we're like the same sun sign and we're very similar. And I think it's for that reason that there's a lot of comparison between the two of us in her mind. Is like, where was I when I was your age, and how does that compare to where you are right now? And are you doing better than where I was at your age, kind of a thing? So maybe I channeled this earlier for the collective on TikTok. Maybe like keep some of your personal ambitions to yourself. It doesn't have to be a mother, right? It could just be like Cancer energy. We're coming up on a full moon in Cancer, or just any nurturing feminine energy. So like this could be a friend that secretly, kind of compares themselves or their success with yours, or keeps track of like how they measure up against you. And if you are telling like this friend about like what's going on in your life or whatever, they could like not, like I don't know who it is for you, but I'm just picking up on that because I got a new coffee maker and like the only person that I told that I even had it was my mom. And then the next morning after I told her, it was broken. Like I couldn't even use it. And then I had to, I had to like go through the whole process of grieving the fact that I had literally just like, it was my only Christmas present, and and it was broken like a day after I told her. But for me, it like really cemented in my mind who she was to me and how I need to like move around her in the new year. Like that was a prime example of what I needed to know about her and her intentions towards me. And you talked about you talked about in the request how this person almost kind of like set you up to be in want or to be in need, right? Because you guys had like some intimacy right before you went away. So I kind of want to talk first about how they see that, like if they were intentional. Because when I first read the request, I kind of felt like it was like a deceptive energy. Like, I don't know. Let's just see. What was this person's thoughts surrounding their last intimate encounter? 10 of Cups in reverse. This is what it looks like upright. The Star. So I do feel like this person feels like you're a part of their group in some way. Like you belong with them, or they're like you're of like mind to them. And that would be part of the main reason why I feel like they would engage with you on any level, is because what they get from engaging with you, they really enjoy. That doesn't mean that they're not selfish. That doesn't mean that they're not like emotionally detached in engaging with you still. And we have the Two of Swords in reverse. This is the Libra card. It's interesting because like a lot of this is air sign energy. It doesn't really, and then the only water is like in the reverse. So I do feel like this person has feelings for you, but I don't know that like they're applying those feelings in how they behave in some kind of way. Why is the 10 of Cups here? The moon. We just talked about the full moon. Death in reverse. Here's all the water. It's underneath. And then the Four of Wands in reverse. So yeah, I do feel like this person has feelings for you. I do feel like they're holding them back. I do feel like this person is stingy with how they show love. Maybe because of like whatever is going on in their life that's kind of bent them out of shape and made them maybe a little dark. This person does have feelings. I don't know that they apply them or that they like actively live in them. This kind of gives me like Dexter vibes, or like, like Bateman vibes. Like this is someone who does have feelings, but they're not always in motion. Like, I don't know, like it's like a energy of separation. Like this is maybe like how they present or act in the world, and then this is like their internal world. And in their internal world, they seem like they're primarily focused with like their own best interest, like what they feel like they need to do for themselves to maintain their internal emotional balance. So I feel like this person would have like engaged with you sexually because they wanted to, because they're attracted to you, because they feel maybe even healed by what you have to offer in that kind of a space. So I do feel like you've positively impacted this person, like in some kind of way you've left a mark on them in their mind, because these are both fixed energies, Aquarius and Scorpio. You've made a mark, just in like the quality of your feminine energy. You stand out in this person's mind as being like an ideal, but that doesn't mean that they're ready to necessarily act on that ideal in a way that like solidifies it or guarantees it over the long term. Like this person, I don't know that they're even necessarily interested in creating relationship stability, like when it comes to romantic things, because they seem like just not oriented in that way. Like they're keeping their stuff to themselves, and they're like, this Leo energy is self. What are my goals, and what am I doing to achieve my goals? What do I want, and how can I get what I want without giving up too much of what I already have? What is my position? How can I maintain my position? Even in like your life, right? Like maybe this person knew that by like accessing you in this intimate way before you went away, like was going to make you think of them while you were away. Because this is Temperance Sagittarius, is like travel energy. Like I wouldn't be surprised if this was a kind of manipulative person. Like they kind of seem like that, and they have the mental agility to back that up. Like this person has the emotional energy, so they know how to manipulate that, maybe even in the minds, bodies, hearts, minds of other people. And this is a situation where you might decide that you need to become more defensive against this person because of how they are manipulative in that way. And you might recognize how that form of manipulation is familiar to you. You might even decide that you're okay with that. Like, I don't know, like that's totally up to you and that's your choice. Because I don't know all the little tiny details. Like this is a situation that's been panning out over like a whole year for you. So I hope that I'm just like giving you food for thought, things to think about moving forward. But it seems like the last time they were with you in that intimate setting, they felt emotionally comforted by your presence, but also not like so much to an extent that they were going to submit themselves to making sure that you were like always around, kind of a thing. Like this person has interest in you, but they're not necessarily investing in that interest, or they are investing but like infrequently, and without any like real clue for you as to when the next time they invest will be. So if you do move forward with this person, like in their current energy, it's important for you to be also just as fixed in your own life and in your own position. And I feel like that's the only way that this could probably work out favorably, is like if you are as detached as they are. Like you're gonna wanna not want this person more than they want you, because that kind of just puts you right in like the golden spot to be mistreated. Not even because this person maybe even necessarily wants to mistreat you, but just because they're not maybe as humanitarian and in the same ways that you might be. Like this person maybe does care about their community, but maybe not everybody in their community, maybe just like certain people that they've decided to attach to. Like it's interesting, this person. I'm hearing that song, Who Can It Be Now, by Men at Work. So I wonder if this person has a job that takes up a lot of their time, or if the community that they've built in that job influences a lot of their decision making. And that could be part of the reason why like they are reserved with how they apply their energy, because this person's public image could be insignificant to them or important to them. Maybe like whatever hyper masculine image that they have of themselves. Like I got that Patrick Bateman energy, maybe even like Wolf of Wall Street, like Jordan. Like this could be someone who like sees other people, wants to keep seeing other people because it makes them feel strong to be able to like conquer. And you know, I don't know if this person only sees you as a conquest. Like, I don't think that it would be fair to say that, because I do see like emotional significance as it relates to you. But yeah, I don't know that you exist as the only thing. And it's important for you to know that so that you can like move around how you need to move around. Okay, so not even just about that last encounter. This is a more of a general way to like ask the same question. So, in general, thoughts and feelings towards L. And I'm gonna have a sip of my latte. I've been obsessed with chai recently. I just can't stop drinking it. Okay. So what are L's person's thoughts and feelings towards her in a more general way? Right now. Not even just in the past intimate experience, but like current moment. We have the Hierophant, Taurus energy. So fixed, again, a lot of fixed energy. So what's cool about this, if you feel comforted by that, is that this person, once again, sees you as like a cut above. You're elevated in the mind of this person as like being an ideal or representing some kind of ideal energy signature. Like there's value with Taurus energy here. You're worth something to this person. Maybe worth more than most people that they experience. And maybe like, I don't know whether or not you're one of these people, but I feel like this person has people who just want to give to them and just want to have access to them. Like this person has people who are like, whoa, my cat just attacked the little dog I got. Sometimes she's been doing that recently, and I don't interfere with it, because I don't know what the little dog does to make her do that, because she's not like typically a very aggressive cat. But yeah, this person could have other people that want to like attach themselves to this person, maybe because of what they do for work and like the financial status that they have or public image that they have. I feel like this is a person who's like, once again, like Patrick Bateman, like acquisitions and mergers. Whoa, dog. My German dog just knocked over my tray. And he's sitting on my hat that I'm making. It's my new work hat. I just got a job offer from my own family business to like join the family business. So there could have been some kind of recent career expansion this person has just accomplished that has them feeling like the shit in some kind of way. They could have got like promoted or something, or just got a raise or something. But they're kind of feeling like the shit. And that's like good, I think, because it makes this person feel confident. But once again, I do feel like there's people around them that are like, they have options. They have hoes, you know, like I think this person has like hoes, and they like that they have hoes. I don't think they want to give up their hoes, because it makes them feel like, once again, more like this thing that they want to be seen as and want to feel like. And with this being a 5, this could be a point of transition in this person's life, especially because it's the first card out. They could be like literally like elevating, like they're learning how to levitate. I'm getting like Yoda vibes. I don't know why. It doesn't have to be, it's actually Yoda, but like maybe Jedi, you know, like Force user. And I was talking before about how like the masculine person from the other reading was in that Sam Witwicky energy where it's like, you know, I'm a transformer. I live in like a different level of existence than what's common or average. We have the King of Wands in reverse. This person could see this relationship as like not currently actionable, but I still feel like you have this person's attention. I don't know if you have them on like social media, but if you do, they're attracted to your physical body a lot, I think. Like they would like to just see you and be aware of what you do and like what you're accomplishing. I think this person like likes the idea of elevating parallel to you, like you're elevating and they're elevating, maybe at different paces, maybe different speeds, maybe like, you know, this person likes being side by side with you. And like this person, the masculine energy before described the person that they fell out with as a friend. So this person could even be seeing you as a friend, and that could be part of how you're fixed, but like, you know, like they have a fixed emotion towards you, but they're also not so committed or obligated to their relationship that they're going to like betray self-interest to preserve it. This seems like someone who's more passive and they're like, whatever works out, works out. And you might be frustrated about about this person because they are so detached. Like this person is detached. Like I get that vibe off of them. Okay, what else? We have the Chariot, more Cancer energy. Once again, talking about this full moon. But the King of Wands in the reverse is pointing towards this cardinal water, which is like the energy of acting on emotion. But once again, this is another like battle card. Like this is a card that can talk about like going to war or like home defense. And then we have the Fool in reverse, more cardinal energy. And before, the cardinal energy was in Libra, like it was thinking. Like I'm taking action on my thoughts. Now it's like I'm taking action on my emotions and I'm taking action on my desires, but it's in the reverse. Like the action on the desires here is in the reverse. And these more comfy feeling cards, like Taurus and Cancer, are upright. So this is a person who's like, once again, still focused on like the actions that they are taking are inverted actions towards their personal goals and like in the direction of wherever they want to go, which could be away from you because it's inverted. Not that they're not like, once again, fixed, because like the energy that describes their internal world as it relates to this energy, like it's primarily major arcana. Like it's important to notice that. And then what's not is a court card. So like still pretty significant soulmate energy for me, because this person sees you as like a major chapter of their life, something that they could make goals around. Why is the Hierophant here? The Hierophant can be a marriage card. But in this case, I feel like there's something about how you are that makes this person understand that you're worth taking out of everything else that's there. And I wanted to say worth possessing because Taurus's second house talks about like assets, like things that you have. This person wants to like have you. I don't know if they're investing all the energy that they should to maintain you. So in the absence of everything that you might want in this connection, I think it will be important for you to be able to give to yourself. Like if you do decide that this is a situation that you have endurance for, I can understand why you would make that choice or have that feeling just based on the significance of, the dynamic between you. But I do feel like, once again, this person has like these other things going on. And I don't know that that's something that you should take personally, because it feels like that could be related to like their discovery of the world and like all the opportunities that are available for them to push forward towards. And like, why wouldn't they? Especially if you are like in an entirely different part of the world, I don't know how old you are. You guys could be young, like in earlier stages of your lives as individuals. So yeah, why is the King of Wands here? Because I was talking to Sky, and Sky, like, I was telling her about like my relationship because I trust her. Like she's an actual really good friend. And she was like, well, it's a good thing that you guys are young because you guys still have time to figure it out. And I appreciate her as like a reference point because her and her person mirror me and my person, but she's been with her person for a lot longer. She's a bit older than me. So, yeah. I feel like this person does see you as something they want to take action towards in the future. But that's a future thing. It's not a right now thing. It's not like I have a way to access you right now thing. Or I know exactly how to like take action to make my end goal become a reality. Like my vision of the future, my vision of how I see you exists in my mind as a vision. I have an idea of the direction I want to head in emotionally, but that's not necessarily leading my actions in the present moment. So you probably will notice that this person does things that contradict how you think that they feel towards you, because that's the way that they are right now. It's more fixed energy. This person definitely sees you as like family, if not like a soulmate. Like the Star talks about like broad networking, and the Ten of Cups is like family energy. So there's, regardless, a sense of belonging and maybe like intellectual equivalency. And then we have the Ten of Wands in the reverse, which is like a release of burden. Like this person sees you as a place of comfort, for sure. This relationship is a place of comfort. Emerald Eyes by Fleetwood Mac could be significant. I've been having that in my head a lot recently. And one of the lines is, Emerald Eyes is a mystery. She's my place of serenity. And now my cat is meowing. So this is like someone who might like kind of like use you as a vent, even if just for like sexual energy. And I don't know if you're cool with that, but like, I think that's what they want to do. For some of like, for you, you might decide that that's okay. Like that, that's a dynamic that you're willing to be a part of. But that's like your choice, you know? It's totally up to you. You don't have to do a halfway thing with this person, because it kind of feels like because they're not wanting or like investing energy in doing the full thing, you would only have the option to do a halfway thing, because you can't like force this person to be more serious towards you than they actually are. So if you have like a desire to maintain this dynamic, you kind of need to be okay with this person being like 1 foot in, 1 foot out, not because they don't recognize your substance, but because they have an interest elsewhere. Maybe that occasionally conflicts with like what would be necessary for you. And now my cat is here, and I woke up this morning and she had a dirty head. There's like dirt on her. I don't know what that's about. I gotta clean her off. Okay, so what stops this person from pursuing something meaningful with you? Let's talk about that in more depth. What might that specifically be? And I was telling that song, Men at Work, right? Who can it be now? And then 8th house is like money you receive. And that's the opposite of Taurus, the Hierophant, which is money you already have or things that you already have. So there may be something they have to submit to in order to passively receive. And that could be what is like conflicting here. They could also have some kind of mommy issue that exists in their subconscious mind that maybe you trigger without even trying. So what stops L's person from pursuing something meaningful? Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they did have a mommy issue, like a critical mother or something like that. So this person, like, they recognize you as the kind of maybe woman that would be like a good mother or something like that. I don't know. Or like that they would like have kids with or something. Or like they respect your mind, the way that you perceive things. This kind of reminds me of like Polly and Tommy Shelby. I'm only using that as an example because I've been watching Peaky Blinders a lot. And it's just like the Queen of Swords is that archetype of woman that like you respect for like what they have to offer that's like masculine in terms of like practicality or like decision making or like planning kind of a thing. So this person, I think, could be like occasionally insecure about what you might think of them, even if they wouldn't admit that. Like in all of this like showboating that they do, because they like one half of them is like, oh, I'm so proud to like showboat in this way, and then the other part of them was like, oh my god, I wonder like what Elle would think if they knew that I was doing this or something like that. Like it's like there could be like a hidden insecurity here, or like a hidden self, like a mummified version of self that they don't want you to have access to because it's like dead or like ugly or dark. I'm saying that like if it was them saying it, not because I think it. So what else is stopping them from pursuing something meaningful with L? Page of Cups. Kind of that more that like showboating energy. 8 of Wands in reverse. The 9 of Cups. King of Wands again in the reverse. So you definitely have this person's attention. The Sun. 9 of Wands. Ace of Wands again in the reverse. So once again, this person does they do think about a new beginning with you. They don't think of that as being actionable in the current time frame. They have an identity that they're developing that requires them to like flex some kind of muscle, maybe one that is like masculine. It's a showboat. Like I don't know what it is that they're doing, but it's like, this is the kind of man that I am. They're trying to like show the world, like, this is what kind of man I am. Show themselves. Like, I think they're trying to show the world, but I think it's really about themselves. Like, this person needs to like feel for themselves that they're the kind of man that they want to be. And even if that isn't the kind of man that they'll always be, because this King of Wands in the reverse is like once again, it's like the idea of what a man should be before you know what a man should actually be kind of energy. Like, it's like this person has like a rough sketch of what they want to look like or be in the world, and they're like working on creating that. It doesn't really seem like that is always compatible with the energy, like the stark energy that you exist in. And that's why that energy comes at a contrast, because if you're like in this phase where I'm creating standards for myself and this is what I'm allowing, and if you're not this way, then I have to leave you behind. And this way, this person is like, well, I'm completely in charge of my life. I have full autonomy. I can do whatever I want because I'm a strong man, and I do whatever I want because I can do whatever I want. And that's like obviously existing at a contrast here. So you're going to need to know who you're dealing with and what your compatibility is with that kind of mode of behavior, and like really be honest with yourself in order to avoid like further emotional turmoil or like disappointment when this person just, is just how they are right now and you're just how you are right now. Not because you guys aren't compatible, but just like because it's not compatible right now. Which is once again why this is existing more in this person's mind as like a long-term ambition, or like an idea of where they could plant a seed in the future. Like, if I was going to do this, then this is where I might do it because I like what I experienced here. So it's like an idea that this person maybe even feels comforted by this relationship. Like, I have this one rod, it's not going anywhere. It's fixed, like I think this person could take for granted occasionally like what they know about how you feel about them and how you're not likely to maybe move out of your position because you're comfortable with the vision that you guys share. They could take that for granted though, so be aware of that. Like, when you feel taken for granted, how do you respond to that? Because your ego is like, just because this person's like feeding theirs doesn't mean that yours should have to suffer. So they shouldn't be like trying to step on your neck to get to the top. That's not really a good friend thing to do. It doesn't really demonstrate a lot of loyalty. And that's like an objective truth, not because I'm trying to condemn this person or like how they've behaved, but just because I want to validate however you might be feeling in like in the aftermath of what's occurred. Like, if you're feeling like, a little bit betrayed and like you want to create boundaries, like that kind of makes sense to me based off what I'm seeing right now. So what are this person's intentions or next moves in this connection? I wanted to mention, like, I'm kind of like doing this entire reading with this one deck, and usually I kind of like shift around and use other decks, but I'm just doing this entire thing from this deck. And this is the Tarot Obscura. It's a skeletal deck. I work with the dead myself, so I feel like some of your insights about this connection, most of them probably are not going to come from this person. They're going to come from how you feel about the guidance that you're receiving internally. So that can be like something that kind of drives you a little bit crazy, right? Because if this person is never actually doing anything in the actual real world to reinforce how you feel, then there's going to be like the cognitive dissonance where you feel like maybe you're sticking your neck out. Yeah. Living on a Prayer, Bon Jovi. We're halfway there. Take my hand. I'll make it, I swear. All right, intentions and next moves, please. 10 of Wands in reverse. King of Swords. This next full moon in Cancer could be significant to some kind of like breakthrough in this person's mind when they release some kind of baggage, maybe related to those mommy issues that I talked about before. Jeez Louise, just dropped the cards. 9 of Wands. And it could have been because, like, if you reacted in a way to their, like, behavior, it might have like communicated something to them about the power they have. And I don't really know what I mean by that. I think this person knows that they have influence over you. Like, they have you in their hand. They're like, they feel like they're in possession of you, maybe even already. So that could be part of the reason why they don't take a lot of like major moves, is because they don't really even perceive there as being a lot to do, to need to do as far as acquiring you. And, you know, respond to that how you will, right? Because you might decide that that's something that you don't necessarily like, you know, like how this person behaves with like a certain level of audacity towards you. And if that's the case, you might need to decide to behave in a different way, to communicate that this person needs to behave in a different way, which might mean sacrificing the stability that you feel like you have, or like through communicating or like releasing even this person, even if it's just for a time. Yeah, she's beating up the little dog again. Interesting. I just observe my pets more than like interfere with them. and that's like the energy of death in the reverse. Like, it's submission. This person struggles to be submissive. I think mostly because they have this idea of themselves as being like in control of everything all the time. And that's something that probably like a need that they've acquired through some kind of like, you know, childhood adversity. Dude, don't knock over my stuff, please. Jeez. My cat's like climbing into the window. Why is the 10 of Wands here? 5 of Pentacles. Yeah, they're bent out of shape. This person's bent out of shape. You need to know that about this person. Not because I'm condemning them by that, but they are bent out of shape. This is not somebody who's like regular. Like when it comes to like how they think, their ability to manipulate, to control, to influence, like they may go beyond what's normal. And that's based in like some kind of shadow ability. King of Cups. 3 of Wands. Like, for example, like the way that I gained this spiritual skill to read cards was through like my desperation for knowledge. Like I felt very alone and lacked a connection with like a divine source. And so I created and fostered one of my own hand. Because in this way, I like to have control. Like, this is where I want control in like the spiritual, emotional, mental realm. Like for me, that when I have control there, it's easy for that internal control to reflect into the external. But I feel like this person is a little bit different, where when they have material control, like when they have money, when they have status, when they have respect, that's when they feel calmed. The absence of those things makes this person insecure, and you're likely to experience like this person's darker side when they feel unsure or insecure. So they have to work on releasing whatever it is that could be making them feel insecure from the inside out. Like they where they are strong is outside, where they are weak is inside. I think you're the exact opposite, and that's part of how you're meant to be impacting each other. So you can't like go into this person's head, mind, or psyche and like change things, but they are definitely bent out of shape, and they're gonna need like to understand that about themselves, and then do whatever kind of mediation is necessary to be functional in a relationship. But I feel like this person already understands that they might be a way off from that like end destination, which is more the reason why they see you as something that they like, but not something they're taking action towards in the immediate future. They have to pull themselves out of that position of stuckness internally. They have to like initiate a self-help thing. And maybe that requires them to like detach from some of the same things that bring them some of that material world peace that they think will like translate into control. This person needs to maybe learn how to be more cooperative with other people and not just like dictate circumstances. Okay. So, to continue this, their overall perspective? And I'm going to use this analogy to kind of close out their energy. And then we'll talk about like you and what you might need to do for yourself. Shout out to Sky for this deck. She sent this to me from Japan, which is awesome. Japanese cards. Okay. So what is their overall perspective from their higher self on this relationship with L? So yeah, like L and Light Yagami, you're probably dealing with like a master manipulator here. And you're smart enough to be their intellectual equivalent, but that doesn't mean that you're necessarily as like shadowy or like dark as them per se. Not that you aren't or like whatever, but it's just like this person is coming out as more light and you're giving me more L. So how are they seeing it from their higher self? Moonlight Serenade, change your tune. It's a green card, heart chakra. This person could have, like, part of what has bent them out of the shape is, like, maybe attacks on their sensitivities. So this person could abandon sensitivities in order to feel like they have control. So, like, like, this could, like, let's say, for example, yeah, shadow work. Just an example, they could have had, like, a past relationship that, like, really left them in, like, a bad position. And then as a way to cope with that, they're like, okay, well, I'm just never going to be in a relationship again. Like, I'm done with relationships because this is what happens when I'm in them. But instead of that, they should probably be more like, and I'm just like, this is just me. But like, they could probably benefit more, like, emotionally, mentally, spiritually from asking, like, themselves what made them how they are. So they can just understand, like, how they got into that position to begin with, and then like kind of work backwards from there. Like, now that I know what I am, how can I avoid what I am from getting in the way of what I want? But instead, this person kind of just shuts down that desire emotionally, maybe entirely, or to at least the extent to which it can't affect them in a way that makes them feel insecure. So like I said, they like to have hoes, or like they like to have maybe like, you know, they probably are not the type to like settle in one position because they are afraid of the vulnerability of that. We have full moon forgiveness, and we literally have that full moon in Cancer, and I kept mentioning that. They have to like get over whatever the thing was that made them wonky. And it could have been a couple of things. I call the Knight of Wands my Soldier Boy card, so there could have been some kind of like literal war. Like they had to fight maybe for something. This is a moon magic transformation that came out in the reverse. So they're kind of stalling their own growth in an internal spiritual way because they're not ready to face some of the things that might be in their closet. Then we have talk to the moon, communicate. And this is, once again, that submissive energy to a higher power that they're struggling with. They rather focus on what progress is available in the material world than turn into themselves. Whereas I think you're probably the kind of person who turns into your internal world and then like neglects like external stuff. That's kind of like natural for like masculine feminine balance, I think. So not to like shame yourself into this person, but it's just like an objective understanding of what's at play. And then accept responsibility. Yeah, this person kind of has to self-start their own healing. And they may be triggered into that with this new like lunar transit. Like they may have some kind of event or whatever that makes them have to sit still and think about themselves. And they probably will want to like kick that, but I think they'll probably have to end up doing that anyways. And if not like in one moment, then it's like they're being through this transit probably activated into like a longer term cycle of just having to face their emotional world, like their own heart space, having to look at that for everything that it is, reconvening with self, and then accepting, like, you know, two different cards right here that say accept, accept, accept. Like this person could even be in denial of things in their life. Maybe about themselves, maybe about other people. So yeah. But they need to accept. I think they accept you. I don't think they accept themselves completely. So that makes it difficult for you guys to kind of like meet in the middle. Okay. So enough about them. Let's talk about you. Just a little bit before we close. So, what might L need to know from their guides about how they should be maneuvering through the energy of this connection moving forward? Focus on your bag, maybe. Don't let the situation get you so bogged down that you can't get things done. And I feel like that's kind of like the thing that would piss me off the most about like what you described in your request is like the engagement and then the detachment like so quickly. Mostly I think because I'm a fixed placement, I like consistency. I like to be able to expect things. I like to know what I can expect. And when I can't, I try to like go in my mind and figure out what to expect. And I spend a lot of time like running my numbers and my little mental algorithm about like what could happen and what could be and what may already be going on that I don't know about. Part of the reason, once again, that I, developed this skill. So I completely understand that that's you right now. But maybe try not to let that debilitate you from accomplishing the things that you know that you need to do for yourself. And just be aware of where you're giving this person too much control over your internal world and where you're allowing them to like separate you and cause divisions in your life. Because that would be you kind of like giving into this person's manipulative charms. Okay. So, what would L's guides want them to know about how they should be moving forward in this connection? The star, it's healing and regenerative energy. These are exact opposite energies. Aquarius and Leo. Interesting. Both fixed again. So you don't have to like maybe give this up, but you do need to be maybe more committed to yourself and your own ambitions and how you can give to yourself in order to put yourself in the like most advantageous position for yourself. Because that's what this person is doing. Yeah, like the cards that are coming out for you and what you should be doing look a lot about like they look a lot like what this person is already doing for themselves. So in that way, like this person could be inspiration for you and your masculine energy in the world. You could really admire what this person's done for themselves. And yeah. Sorry. You're going to want to take action towards your goals and then in the near future. And I feel like when you do that, you see a lot of growth and a lot of like reward for that. But don't like stop showing up for you because you're also bent out of shape. Both of you are. So once again, like not to condemn that person, right? Like it seems like you guys are both equally fucked up. And that's probably the reason why like maybe you guys are compatible. But yeah. Healing yourself is helpful towards the end goal that you want to see in this connection. Even if nothing you're doing actually involves this person. Like directly. Because what's blocking you guys is like the karmic attachments and like imbalances that exist within you for yourselves independently. It's too much. The moon. So you're also going through some kind of personal transformation in this transit. 5 of Wands. Definitely like internally conflicted though, because I think for you it's important to know what's what and what your position is, and that's just not very clear. But it doesn't probably need to be that clear. Like I think honestly you could just ground yourself in the fact that you mean something to this person and they mean something to you, and you guys mean something to each other, and just continue to like forge and pioneer in your life with respect to that. Not because you have to be obligated to this connection, but because you know that it's still there and it's not really going anywhere. And that maybe even you're going to be pulled back to this person. Because this is like like it's Leo, so it's like the sun, and this is the moon. So it's like, equal and opposite. And then we have equal and opposites here too, with Leo and Aquarius. So one, and then justice is here, like to say karmic balance, like everything is as it should be. Nothing is out of place in this energy. So if you're feeling like you need to resist how things are right now, that's just you kind of being insecure about your position. So figure out like why, and then start to work on regenerating and healing it and self-sustaining in the areas where you feel most weak, so that you don't have those internal weaknesses, so that you don't feel like you need to maybe even cling onto this person's energy more than what's necessary. Because in that way you kind of keep yourself stuck in this position of like thinking about things that you can't control, and that prevents you from taking action towards things you actually can't control, which are the things in your life that position you advantageously. Yeah. Like your own personal divine masculine energy, and how you use that to pull in like the outcomes that you want. So yeah, that's what I have for you. I hope that helped you and that you got everything that you needed out of this reading. So thank you for booking this with me and choosing me and trusting me, and I hope you have a good day. Bye.